good young nucleus, and he did a good job with them. So hopefully everything works out for him as well, because he's a damn good coach.
Oh yeah, totally agree. All right, let's see. Everybody's gonna choose this top player in the division, but who are some of the other players that you're keeping an eye on in the division? As far as
I'm keeping an eye on the other big three, the other two of the big three in Cleveland, because I don't think neither one of them can stay healthy.
Kyrie's going to miss some games.
And I've been a huge, big, gigantic eye on Tristan. I got paid way too much fucking money, Thompson.
They're at $170 million in cap. I don't remember the exact number, but they had a crap load of money, and they're going to be paying probably the most luxury tax in NBA history for this team.
But that's what you get when you let LeBron run everything. That's what you get. How good's their bench? We saw how good their bench was. Not very good. When it comes down to it, they're not going to. If those three guys don't stay healthy, they're not going to be able to do anything, and they'll do exactly what they did last year.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I know Kyrie's not going to start this season here. I think they're the.
Kevin Love may not even start the season this year. There's been talk of him not being able to start the season this year either with the shoulder.
So
I don't even like talking about them.
All right, well, top players I'm gonna keep an eye on is I'm keep an eye on Andre Drummond, man, because he must now take this leadership role now that they don't have Greg Monroe anymore, and now you add Irvin Ilyasoya, who can spread the floor better than Monroe. Reggie Jackson is a scorer-first mentality point guard. Sounds familiar. Stan McGunn is trying to duplicate a 3-and-D lineup like he did in Orlando.
Yep.
And Drummond he must set the tone on the defensive end and just trying to get that set up for Stan, because Stan does do a big job building around big men, but he just seemed like he wanted to get away from Greg Monroe, because Greg Monroe is kind of like a mid-post player and didn't make much room for Drummond. But so now you give Drummond more room to operate on his offense and get a couple of posts up, get the rebounds and clean up. But you got a good nucleus there in Detroit. Derrick Rose being the other one. As long as this guy can stay healthy and avoid distractions, I know he's been kind of talking about free agency, and Jimmy Butler's like, well, worry about us first, the Bulls, before you start talking about other stuff and everything like that.
The bad part about Derrick Rose already worrying about free agency and everything like that, dude, stay healthy for a whole fucking year. Make people see that you're actually going to be worth it.
Yep. And
you're going to stay healthy. Then fucking talk about it.
I agree.
Don't run your mouth about something that is going to be a year away when you don't even know if you're going to stay healthy the whole year. You're going to take another blow to the face and you'll be out 4 months.
Exactly.
Dude, just shut up, play the game. That's the bad part with these guys now. We're going to worry about free agency. Don't worry about free agency. Stop running your mouth about free agency. Go out there and play this year. If you can stay healthy.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
You fall. Because I'd be damned if I'm any team and that man can't stay healthy. You could be full of talent, but if you do not have the availability trumps talent. If you don't have the availability, I'm not going to pay you. So you stay on the floor, and then we'll talk about money. But until then, shut up and play.
Yeah, and you got all the tools to be successful now. You got Fred Hoiberg, who's want to focus more on offense, and the ever so improving Jimmy Butler's. And then you got one of the best mid-post players in the game in Paul Gasol. So the Bulls team still had a good team to make some noise and possibly challenge Cleveland. So this is a team that's very interesting. Just long Derrick Rose stay healthy and avoid all the distractions and everything like that. He just got to keep his mind straight and everything like that. And hopefully these guys stay healthy and he'll be fine. So you good over there?
Yeah, I'm actually home. So I'll be walking in here in a minute.
So I'm looking at... I'm looking at this
I had
here.
Mexican all of a sudden come on my radio.
Oh, did you? So yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this team that can really possibly challenge Cleveland. But I know they done put Noah on the bench, and Noah's gonna be coming off the bench now. They're gonna start Nikola Mirotic, try to get out from the field. This was the team that in preseason that I saw one half of basketball, and they already scored 55, 60 some points in one half. Whenever you seen that out of a Tim Thibodeau team, so you never saw that out of a Tim Thibodeau team, and so this is a team that focuses more on the offensive side of the ball, and they're gonna be an interesting team to see what they can do with this. But Derrick Rose got to get his mind right and stay healthy, like Kevin said. So.
Holy crap! I just saw all the stuff you wrote. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. And we made it to, and now we.
I couldn't even type. My hand would have been like, I'd have got carpal tunnel. Hold on, let me get some orange juice.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to figure out and discuss the possible playoff teams in this division. I'll go first while Mr. Carter get some of the drinks here. So I got the Cleveland, I got the Bucks, and I got the Bulls in this division here.
Me too!
So that Pistons are on defense for me. They're on the fence. The Pacers, I know they're Paul George has kind of been criticizing playing the small ball, playing the fourth. He's not really too happy about that with Vogel and everything like that. So I don't know how much that's friction that's going to cause so far. But Pacers are still in a tough spot right now. I know they signed some talent, Monte Ellis, but that's really
I
don't
think
think
you get
that. So they gave me that framework. So
I want one.
Because we practice safety. That's why they got it. So.
You can safety me a Yeti Rambler. You know how much these shits are?
A lot.
Yeah. Damn.
All right. So you agree? Possible playoff teams. You got the Bucks, Bulls, and Cavaliers.
Sounds about right.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the south. Let's move on to the southeast.
That sounds about right.
The Southeast Division.
So you got 4 teams left for the.
Yeah, I got 4 teams left. So
for the playoffs in the East.
In the East. All right. We're gonna go to the Southeast Division. This team consists of the Hawks, the Heat, the Hornets, the Wizards, and the Magic. Who's the team on the rise for you in this division?
Are we basing this on last year?
Yeah.
Who's on the rise?
I am.
That's easy.
Go ahead.
That's easy. The Miami Heat are the team on the rise compared to last season to this season. Their starting 5 is going to be probably one of the best starting 5s in basketball. They'll have one of the best starting 5s in basketball. But yeah, they're the team that's going to be on the rise, especially from last year. Coming in a close second, the Orlando Magic would be a close second as the team on the rise.
You smile, man. And I actually agree with you. I think the Heat is going to be on the rise. What you said earlier,
that's ridiculous.
The Bosch missed 44 games, and the injuries hurt this team, man. I said, really in the East, they can say they got one of the best starting 5s in the NBA. I mean, go down there. You got Dragic, you got Wade, you got Bosch. I can keep going, man. This is the
you got Bosch,
you got
Wade,
Whiteside,
Dang.
and and
their starting 5 is Whiteside,
really, really solid. Now, the only thing that concerns me about them is their bench, and I know you probably elaborate a little more on me. Winslow's a talented rookie, but hopefully he can provide that consistent effort for you guys as a sixth man.
The sixth man ain't going to be Winslow. The sixth man, and who's going to be like the dude that's going to be, he may be in consideration for sixth. Gerald Green.
Gerald Green?
Good God at the stuff he's did so far. Just coming on, talk about, he's making threes. Mm-hmm. He's dunking like he's 12 again. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to watch how he fits in nicely with this team.
Yeah. That's why I say the Heat, like you said, they're the obvious one because of what they went through last year.
And McRoberts, watching him kind of get folded into the team, some of the passes and stuff he's been making.
He played in Orlando and he did a good job with that, so I knew y'all was going to get
some of the passes and stuff he's been making in division. Now you see why people want to play with him because he's throwing dimes.
Yeah.
From just. I'm like, where the hell? Who? What?
For his size.
I'm like, how? Who? I'm like, who? Well. Who found it?
Yeah. So yes, I'm glad I got the Heat, man. I like Stoudemire. He's effective in spurts, but He's not what he used to be.
But he'll be he's what they need.
Yeah.
He's the type of dude that they need to come in. And he's been wanting to get to Miami for how long? Amari's been wanting to get to Miami for a while. Amari and Carlos Boozer were the two guys that wanted to get to Miami for a while. Well, one of them finally made
it. Finally, so.
The other one, they were like, nah, we don't want you.
Yeah. I think the Hawks take a little dip this year. They did lose DeMar Carroll, and I know they started off with a winning streak. I think it was like 20, 21 games, 24. I can't.
It was a bunch.
It was a bunch that they won in a row. The Hornets take a little dip. The Wizards, I think, take a little dip, but they still can be playoff contenders. Magic, obviously, it does improve, but we have to see how Scott Skiles does. He did a good job in the preseason, but you really can't judge the preseason. A lot of these teams don't play their talents. And I was hoping that Memphis was going to give me a gauge, but Gasol and Randolph didn't play.
The Magic's key is playing well within the division. Mm-hmm. If they can play well in the division and win games that they should win, outside of the division, they'll be all right.
Yeah, the division's going to be pretty tough. This division's pretty tough for them, and because all these teams are still pretty solid.
We have to have 4 playoff teams from this division.
Yeah, so.
To fill out what we have left.
So, all right, who's the best player in this division, in your opinion?
1A and 1B. John Wall and Chris Bosh. That's my 1A and 1B. Because I think Chris Bosh is still, he's the best player on the Heat right now. If Dwayne Wade was healthy and we knew what you get out of Dwayne Wade, it's an easy answer on who the best player is. Dwayne Wade's the best player when healthy. John Wall is the best player right now because he stays healthy. Even when he was hurt, he still played well. So to me, it's John Wall, and then you have Chris Bosh right there, kind of neck and neck, especially if Chris Bosh is healthy. Before Chris Bosh went out, he was 20 and 10 every night.
Yeah.
Every night he was 20 and 10. That's without adding Dragic and Whiteside doing his thing. If you would have put him on the floor with Whiteside, who knows what Chris Bosh would have been average.
Yeah, I'm with you on John Wall. I think Chris Bosh is number 2. Super athletic guard, just keep getting better. He led this league in assists in the restricted area with 339.
That's a bunch.
Yeah, it's a lot. Also wanted a better defender position, and the knock on him was improving his jump shot. He did do a good job in mid-range, a 10, 16-foot range, going up 7%. It's like 34 to like 43%.
Still needs to get better.
Still need to get better, but
especially for your position you're in.
Exactly.
But luckily, he don't have to shoot that much because he'll just throw the ball out the deal. Who's the 4th best player in this division?
Very solid.
Between 2 teams, you got the top 4 players in the division.
He stated he wants to be the best point guard in the NBA. Now, I don't agree that he's the best point guard in the NBA, but he definitely got the tools that he should.
Oh yeah, he's got the tools.
Yeah, so but he also got to get his team further in the second round of playoffs. Because I thought that last year they was definitely gonna make the jump.
They should have,
and they should have, but they didn't. So Chris Bosh is obviously going to be one of those guys that can stay healthy. So I like what he can do. We already know what Chris Bosh can do. He's just that outside threat everywhere.
Oh, if Chris is truly all the way back healthy, which I don't expect him to be, you see the all the way back healthy Chris Bosh until about Christmas. Mm-hmm. I would expect it because you got to get him his air back in him and get his conditioning back up. So that's when you start to see the Chris Bosh kicking in. Okay. But that's why I think Dwayne, pick up most of the slack until you see Chris Bosh start rolling in. Because Dwayne Wade quietly last year had a really Dwayne Wade-esque year when Chris Bosh was out.
All right. Who are your possible playoff teams in this division?
You need 4 just to fill out the whole thing. So Hawks, Heat, Wizards, Magic.
I got the Hawks, the Heat, the Wizards, and I'm debating between the Pistons and the Magic for that.
Oh, for the final
spot.
I think it'll be Celtics, Magic, Pistons,
all fighting for it.
And I think even the Pacers will be in there fighting for it. Because the Pacers were in it last year, mm-hmm. fighting for it, and now with Paul George coming back, and I don't know how they're going to play him, but they'll end up switching back to normal and everything. So I got all those playing for that last spot.
I don't want to.
Or those last spots.
I really think how the cards play itself right. Of course, the Magic can make the playoffs, but they have gotten better so far as how I like